I'm trying to set up my, there we go, video on my computer so I can record this on both so I can upload to YouTube as well. Because the old way of downloading my lives isn't working anymore. Facebook is funny how they don't want us to be able to download our lives. So if somebody else, somebody who's talented in tech knows how to do that and wants to share that with me, that would be rad, because I've looked online and all I can find is the old stuff. I'm going to be kind of splitting back and forth between the cameras. They're definitely at different angles. That's the only way I could do this, and I found a pretty ingenious way to mount my camera. So cool. Anyways, I'm going to be reading some writing I did this morning, and I titled this Searching for My Tribe, Doing This Global Healing Work, because it's interesting. I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and it's not unusual for me to get up at 2 a.m. and start my day when I wake up that early, but got a clear message that there's more. Go back to sleep. We're in download phase right now, and so I did. I went back to sleep and slept for like another 2.5 hours, and there definitely was more to come in, and I sat up, put my feet on the ground, and said 3 thank yous from a really solid place, and stepped into my day, and went up and prepared my coffee and put on my headset and started listening to a little Kaipacha. Not the typical Pele report. It was a overview of, oops, hold on. My sister's trying to call. Let me turn off my alerts. Boom, there we go. Okay. So, it was a, so I see that I've got this to where you guys legitimately cannot see my face. Is that better? Okay. We're just going to have to work with this. Up, hold on. Resume. Okay, there we go. Sorry guys, this is new, trying to mount my camera in this position so that I have my hands free. So we're gonna go with it. We're just gonna deal with you not being able to see my whole face on this camera. And it was an overview of 2019, and I decided let me take some notes because it's really getting the most out of 2019. And I already have been studying a lot of the transits for this year, and I'm well aware of the work that I'm doing personally, and I was excited to take some notes, and I got about, I don't know, 8 or 10 minutes in, and something happened. Like, just a part of me, an aspect, a higher aspect of me took over, and I just started writing. I wrote so much, and typically journals like this, writing like this, would become part of the book that I'm working on, because it's all part of my lesson in how I'm discovering and healing myself, and entering into global healing work. And but this one, I was given a very clear divine message to share this, and it's a long journal. So if you make it through this whole thing and you feel called to this the way that I do, I'm searching for my tribe, and that was one of the messages that came in this morning. Find your tribe. Not that I'm not surrounded by my tribe. I am surrounded by my tribe all around me. I'm surrounded online with you. There's soul tribe all around me, everywhere. This was in reference to finding those who are consciously choosing to do this work that I'm about to read, that I wrote about this morning, that I'm consciously choosing to do, and bonding with those who want to do this work. And I have some ideas about that, about how we can do that work together as a community. And really 2019 really is about finding our soul tribe to do the big work, right? The big work meaning the global work. So I'm going to read you, it's going to start off with some notes about the transits, and then it's just going to go into this deep place. I haven't reread it. I don't even remember half of what I wrote. I'm not even going to lie, you guys. This stuff just flew out of me, and there was a knowing in me that as it was, there were aspects of myself that I was recognizing, pain I have been feeling, things I've gone through, conversations I've had with others who are feeling these feelings, and there was also a higher guidance coming in from my higher self. And it was like going through this filter of my own pain and my own struggles in doing this work. And so I just wrote it, and I'm just going to share it with you guys. So I hope you make it through this. And if you don't, that's okay too, because who's meant to do this work, hear this work, is gonna do that, right? I love you guys. Okay. 2019 transits is a year of supporting the end of the patriarchy, the hierarchy era, strengthening a new era of equality and balance, mind, body, spirit, divine, masculine, feminine. Mind, body, spirit, mind, ego, body, physical, spirit, soul, infinite, connected to all that is, omniscient, omnipotent, not evolving at all. What's evolving? Our body, our mind, the ego, right? The human being is evolving. And I've come into this knowing within the last couple years that I'm here as a soul in a body, experiencing myself as a body and an ego and a mind, helping the mind and the body to evolve, right? My soul's already got this down. So Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008 and will continue until 23. And that's really powerful. Capricorn has been associated with patriarchy. It's when the nodes were in your of Uranus were in Capricorn, patriarchy was actually born. But it was part of our path, right? To experience that. So this is a combination of moving forward. This is a combination of what I took in that 8 minutes plus stuff that was just coming out of me. And so now I'm just going to read this, you guys. You know, I've done my journal reading to you guys before. No big deal. So there was an era where the distorted feminine ruled, and it's important that we recognize that. And we've had the opportunity now to experience imbalance in both eras. Pluto being associated with transmutation and resurrection, it's all about coming into a new form. For resurrection to occur, death must occur. Death of the old, outdated, has served its purpose for the human evolution. Look at what is trying to die within us and let go of unconditional love to create space for a new you, for transformation, for resurrection within and without. So 2008 to 2023, letting go, loss, changes, a changing of the guard. So I can look back over my life since 2008 and I can see immensely, not only in my own life, but in the lives of so many that I'm connected with, how much change we've all endured, and a lot of that has been lost, like the end of relationships or jobs or paths or so forth, like things that we really thought were secure leaving our lives. And that's all part of this, right? It's all making way for something bigger. 2019 is really setting the stage for closings, endings, release, right? And it's setting the stage for Pluto's transit into Aquarius as the south nodes of the moon in Pluto, opening our Akashic records, our memory, looking at our past, addressing our karma, honestly, unconditionally, and for the sake of transmutation. March through October, Saturn gives a 3-degree orb with the south nodes of the moon. Sorry, you guys, these are notes. Between 12 degrees in Capricorn and 20 degrees in Capricorn. And the cardinal signs will really feel the impacts of this, right? So we want to look at in our charts where we're really going to be called to be doing the work. Where in our individual charts do we have these cardinal signs that are going to feel the deepest impact, because that's going to be the area of our life in 2019 where we're going to feel the biggest impact for this work, okay? So it doesn't mean just your sun sign. You have to go beyond that, because we all have charts and we're made up of all these things other than our sun sign, including human design, which is something I study, and numerology and so forth. So anyway, so we want to look at in our charts where we're going to really be doing this work so we can actively get the best out of this work in 2019. And we want to look at the control structures in our life, right? Look at where we've been giving our power away. Saturn energy is assertive. It's all about karma, right? Saturn is no joke, man. This is going to be a rough year if we're resisting this work. Combined with Cancer and Capricorn axis, we're really going to be looking at not only the authority figure within and without, and being forced to do some real work to reclaim our authority in some areas, lose authority over others that is narcissistic, right? Because we're all going to be looking at ourselves in regards to authority, where we've given our power away, where we're taking power away from others with our own narcissistic tendencies or codependent tendencies, right? So it's going to be really important work, because we all hold some narcissistic energy, right? We all hold some codependency within us, where we're relying on the world or others within our world for our own happiness and security. So we're going to be really looking at that. And so resistance of doing this work, it's going to feel and look a lot like loss, right? If we're resisting this work, what's up, April? How you doing, baby girl? It's going to look like loss, right? It's going to expose where we're at in the drama triangle of our codependency and the roles that we're playing in it, right? We play them all, by the way. If we're in the drama triangle, we're playing all roles. The idea that we're the victim. Holding the idea that I'm the victim caused me to create more victims. That's what the victim does. The idea that I'm the victim, because now I judge others as victimizing me. My sister is doing a lot of work on this right now. So we've had some really rad conversations around this work, and it brought me back to learning, to remembering the triangle, because I did that work a long time ago. So it's been really beneficial to me to go back to that, right? So basically, we're going to see the roles we're playing in it, and we're going to be seeing our own karma. Doing the work willingly, pursuing the growth, practicing radical forgiveness for ourselves and for others. Radical forgiveness, let me stop there, is very different than traditional forgiveness, okay? Radical forgiveness is the understanding that no wrong has occurred, the moving beyond the construct of right and wrong, good and bad, and understanding that it's all served us. All of it, every single experience, every loss, every gain was equal in value for us, and that we called forth all of what we're experiencing. That's radical forgiveness. Traditional forgiveness is, you did me wrong, and I'm going to forgive you because I'm the bigger person, and I'm a good person, and I'm going to move on and let go, but you're an asshole. That's traditional forgiveness, right? I'll forgive, but I won't forget. Yeah, no. Radical forgiveness is like, I'm going to remember, but from a space of ownership and accountability. So, okay, where was I, you guys? I hope you can hang out with me. This is going to be fun. If not, you can always come back later. And if this doesn't resonate with you, click off. Totally cool. I'm cool with that too. Because I'm really looking for my tribe in this video. People who want to do this work with me and want to put a community together. So, anyways, practicing radical forgiveness of self and others is choosing to participate in our own resurrection, our own transmutation. When we learn from our past, then we can end the cycles and heal the personal and global and genetic karma from lifetimes throughout our collective history. And on the world stage, external authority will be exposing itself in its own karma, and our role in that, how we've supported the world stage and all the damage that it's done, is going to be exposed to us. In our governments and in media and all these things that we're seeing exposed in the world, we can sit here from a place of, oh, look how bad they are, look what they did, right? We're being shown what we created and what we support with our choices. So we really need to look at what's taking place in the world and look at it from a place of ownership. So June through July is an August. June, July, and August is a retrograde of Saturn. So we're going to get this opportunity moving into the summer to really slow down that movement energy, that pushing that Saturn's going to be doing, that throwing that karma at us, to go deep and to revisit all the feelings that have come up in us. That's what retrogrades are about. They're about, okay, let's stop, let's look at the work we're doing, and let's work with the emotions. Let's address the feelings. Let's really get honest with ourselves about it, so that we can do some really good clearing work. And then when the planet goes direct, we're empowered to step forth even stronger, right? So September through October, somewhere around there, Saturn's going to go direct, right? But the nodes of the moon will continue retrograde. So 2020, Saturn and Pluto are going to be merging, connecting and uniting. And you guys, that is huge. That is so huge, because Saturn is like a warrior, and Pluto is all about transformation, right? So right now we have Pluto in masculine Capricorn, transforming the masculine, right? That's really powerful. And then Pluto and this warrior are going to meet up, and they're going to come into this union in 2020. So that's going to be those of us who are doing this solid work and willing to like really step into our roles to facilitate the global shift, the global healing. We're going to have immense support in doing so. You can't even imagine. So if that's something that just those words call to you, keep listening. So 2019 is a preparation for this powerful teaming up of Pluto and Saturn. And we're in a time of changing. Just changing. Everything is changing. Authority is changing. Our leaders are changing. We're seeing more and more leaders rising up. And America is truly the center stage right now. it's having the opportunity to do something really big, because America really is like a reincarnated version of Atlantis. If we look at that story and the history of Atlantis deeply, meditate on it, we feel into it, and we feel our connection to that story. We can look at the Mayans and we feel our connection to that story as well. So this is a time of choosing to either repeat that history or change it. We're really at a precipice in this. Always, all eyes are on the USA right now, assures that either choice is going to benefit humanity's evolution. So it will either be our example of leading the way to a new day through total transmutation that aids our evolution, or it will be our total destruction that serves as the example for humanity to change course. Either way, the choice is ours, and all work is valuable work. Personal inner work is where it must start. However, part of this is our collective choice as well. This is a time of revolution of evolution, and all are being called to participate in the collective choice of the path that the U.S. is going to take. We really are making a choice here. Those who are spiritual bypassing, clearing collective karma, are making a choice whether they realize it or not. If we are unwilling to look at reality, right? We've given reality such a bad name. Such a bad name in spiritual circles. We really have. Everything here is real. Everything here is real. Everything we touch is real. Yes, it's all one thing. There's not one particle that is separate from the other. Everything's connected. Me, you, these devices that we're on, and the air in between and how it travels. It's all one, but it's all real too. And we're giving reality a bad name because we want to avoid looking at what we've created in reality, because then that requires us to do work to change it. And we're afraid of that. We're scared, you know. So all are called to participate in the collective choice of the path that the U.S. is going to take. So we need to really look at that. We have created. We have to look at what be willing to look at the reality that we have created collectively, and be willing to participate in that, right? If we're unwilling to participate because we believe we're not responsible for where we are or for other struggles or suffering, then we're really not, and we think we're not part of the choice of the total transmutation or destruction, but we are. And we're either leading by example by doing this work, or we're going to lead by example by what avoiding this work looks like, okay? So where are we giving our inner authority away? Where are we expecting someone else to do the work for us? And in doing so, leaving how the work gets done up to chance. What the results are going to be up to chance. Everyone wants to take their power back for their own benefit, living a better life, by our own design, healthier relationships, more money, freedom, whatever the personal desire is for our own personal growth. But are we honestly looking at the bigger picture here? Are we thinking beyond our small me-centered self? Are we doing work for the whole, seeing others struggle and their challenges as our own, and expanding our hearts and minds towards unity consciousness? Because we cannot truly call ourselves workers of the light or healers if we're only doing healing work when it benefits us personally. There's nothing wrong with creating spiritual practices or businesses. That's phenomenal. There's nothing wrong with answering our higher purpose and stepping into a new path where we are prosperous and abundant with healing work as a profession. That's finding our true purpose, and we should be abundant in our purpose. We should be shifting how we all work in this world and what we value and where we go for healing. That being said, every single light worker and healer on this planet has come here at this particular time to really participate fully in this revolution of evolution of the human being. Every one of us is being called to participate beyond the me-centered aspirations of transformation and growth. The reason so many of us came, many who have already experienced an awakening like this in other galaxies and systems, is because humanity is ready for this shift, and we were excited and willing to participate in it fully. And we knew we'd come in forgetting why we were here, so we chose perfect circumstances, the perfect families, environments, to give us all that we'd need to help us to remember our contracts through the healing work that we would do. Our purpose for coming, we would remember that. Many on this planet at this time are doing new work, total life changes all around us, and are participating in healing within themselves and within their close-knit communities. However, many within these groups who call themselves healers and light workers have yet to fully remember that those of us who came here to aid in the evolution of humanity are here to be more than healers who work primarily for our own personal empowerment and gain. If we don't care about what is going on in the world, the suffering and the oppression of our brothers and our sisters, and we dismiss it as drama, and we're using counterfeit spirituality, an excuse not to help. We're saying light and love, but we're refusing to bring light and love into the dark places where harm is being done to others. Harm that isn't affecting us personally, so easily dismissed as drama, and believing ourselves to be a healer or a light worker, then there's more work for us to do if that's what we're doing, There's more for us to remember about why we've come here, and maybe we came here simply to experience the shift from the sidelines, right? As a spectator who experiences this for the very first time, or again, because remembering past contracts and past shifts didn't happen, and you wanted to step to, you wanted to have another round and get another go at stepping into your purpose and owning it and not letting fear stop you. Whatever the case may be, doing real deep work is looking at ourselves and our ideas of ourselves more honestly and discerning for ourselves our roles. Honestly, what roles are we playing? Because 2019 is a wake-up call for those, especially those who came here to bring in unity consciousness. We cannot toss around the "we are one" words while ignoring the calls of others, right? The aspects of the one, other aspects of ourself who are suffering, who need our healing, our voices, our participation, and honestly claim to be working on behalf of the one or doing God's work. 2019 is an opportunity to really look at ourselves honestly. It's a year of getting real about who we're being and what we're here to do. There are many of us answering the call to be consciously involved in the larger shift. I am one who is answering that call and remembering my choice to do so, and something I'm encountering that should be looked at by us all, because many personal discussions with others trying to answer the call to get involved in the larger shift are experiencing the same as me through conversations I've had. What we're up against that is the most challenging is not what one would expect, to be honest. You would think that the bigger challenge in the battle between light and dark occurring on this planet would be facing the darkness directly. In my and many others that I've spoke with experience, that hasn't been the bigger challenge. We chose lifetimes full of darkness to prepare us for facing it within ourselves first, and now within the world. We have been facing darkness our whole life, right? We've told ourselves a lot of false stories over that. However, we prepared ourselves for this time when we could really step up and do global work, right? So we chose lifetimes full of the darkness to prepare us for facing it within ourselves first, and now within the world, right? We're answering our calling to fully participate in becoming unity consciousness, becoming oneness through doing work in the world. No, surprisingly, the bigger challenge has been the judgment and feelings of being ostracized and alone in our own communities, our own families, our own spiritual circles, when we are answering the call to move beyond the self-work to do the global work. And this transition is difficult. And those avoiding it by dismissing global awareness and atrocities as just drama, negative, dark, would do really good to look at that. Look around in your personal spiritual communities and look for those trying to work on behalf of the whole, those who speak and act on behalf of the bigger picture, on behalf of others, struggles being brought into the light. Are you allowing them space at the table to discuss their path, their cares, their sight, what they're seeing, their work, their purpose that's emerging in them? Or are you turned off by them because they're not all light and love, talking about manifesting the perfect partner, job, personal life? We need to look honestly at this. We may be resisting our own calling to participate on a larger scale in this awakening if we're doing so. This is the hardest challenge for many of us who are actively answering the call to work on behalf of the whole. If nothing else, just celebrate and encourage those in your community who are answering that call. Facing the darkness within ourselves and now in the world is a conscious choice that we're making. and are making to fulfill our soul contracts. Facing the darkness in the world is not the biggest challenge. The bigger challenge is being judged and ostracized by those who believe themselves to be light, love, healers, light workers. What is the purpose of calling ourselves a light worker and believing ourselves to be anchoring light, to be working on the behalf of our spirit, our source on this planet, if we're holding all that light in and only offering it to those who feel good, warm, fuzzy, safe, and benefit us personally? What is the purpose of believing ourselves to be beings of light if we're unwilling to shine light into the darkness, to look where there and to offer healing work in the darkest places? 2019 is a year of karma, and we are really being shown where we are out of alignment with who we are, right? Can't even read my own writing. Who we believe we are and working to become. The areas where we're playing house in our spiritual path are really going to be highlighted for us moving forward in undeniable ways, because a larger choice is being made on a very collective level. Transforming duality from a me versus them into unity, a we on a planetary scale, is what we're here for. And it's what's going on right now. Does everyone have to be called to lead the charge? No. However, let's get honest about which consciousness we're actually working on behalf of here. If we are only practicing being inclusive in limited ways that exclude, we are actually working with and for the energy of duality, and that's the easiest thing to do, because that's who we've been for millennia, right? It's so deep in our collective psyche and requires immense work to recognize, process, clear, transmute into unity consciousness. This is the great shift occurring, and it's not new. This has been going on forever, since humans arrived, and we've hit this point more than once because there wasn't enough of us willing to do the work on the behalf of the whole. We self-destructed, right, at this point each time, and then we began again, and we can do that as many times as we need to until enough of us are willing to step up to the plate and make other people's struggles and challenges our own, because that's really what's needed for us to go over that tipping point, right? We don't get to walk into unity consciousness with the duality mindset. It just doesn't work that way. So for us to say that we want the success of this shift into unity consciousness, we really have to get honest with ourselves about which energies we're actually supporting, because we need more of us to step up to the plate and play the game on this world stage. We need all our voices, and we need action that supports the light and love, or the love and prayers that we speak, to feel that we've offered something that says we care, says that we're a good person. You see, there are many on this planet working on behalf of the dying consciousness, wholeheartedly working on behalf of going back to the dying consciousness, right? We see it, man. It's rising up. Look at it. It's in our governments. We have governments in America, Italy, Brazil. We have dictators rising, and then we have so many supporting that. There are people who are consciously, wholeheartedly, even if it's unconscious, giving it their all, and they're loud, right? Working for that dying consciousness, right? Trapped in fear, old programming, working on behalf of darkness. And I honestly say that without judgment, because this is how the human evolves, right? The battle of light and dark without is in truth the battle within that's occurring. And that's why, beautiful souls, we came here to participate, to have the full experience of it, right? We needed both sides. We had to divide ourselves, right? Because we are light, we are unconditional love, but we had to divide ourselves into two aspects and have this battle, right, for this experience. Hold on a second. Hold on, baby. To fully experience it and actually qualify as a great shift, we needed both roles. An evolution of a species, right? It must hold both sides. And the balance is what determines the outcome, makes the choice of where we go regarding duality or unity, right? And in the past, we've had massive balance on the side of duality. There's always been those who have stepped forward to speak of unity. There's always been that energy present, right? We've seen it in our enlightened masters, and in the past it's been the few, but we're at an age where that's us. It's us, you know, collectively it's us. So the outcome makes the choice, duality or unity. one with all of creation or separate from all of creation as an individual. That is the individual and collective choice that we will all have to make in some lifetime. And at this time of our evolution, more are being presented with making this choice right now here on Earth than ever in our human history, because we are at a tipping point in America especially. Why America? Why the global superpower who's created suffering worldwide for its own gain, right? Whose own foundation is built on genocide and slavery? Pretty sure that the answer to that question is in the question itself that I just asked. America is an example to the entire world, and the karma of America is shared by all its citizens. By every single one of us, America shares this karma. We do. Even whether we admit it or whether we don't, we have supported it, we have partaken in it, we have embodied consciousness that has created it. We're all responsible for where we're at as a country. So America is an example to the entire world, and the karma of America is shared by all of its citizens. There are no exclusions in who is responsible for who America is, has been, and will become. No exclusions. We're all responsible. America is going to serve as an example one way or another, either by total destruction of itself or radical transformation. Both, honestly, are equal in value to the bigger picture and the global awakening taking place. They are. Both are gonna be valued to humanity equally. So no worries there. We will in America play an undeniable role in the human evolution, and we are each choosing what that's going to look like, what it's going to be like for us and for this country, okay? Either way, whatever way we go, it's going to benefit the whole. So that's the good news, right? Those of us refusing to care for or work on behalf of the suffering of others in this country, to recognize struggles just because they're not our own, and we don't understand them personally, to look at our impact on the environment, on the world, on our home, our mother, right? The land, the animals, the people, our family. It's all our family. Are adding to the karma America is being called to clear. 2019 is the year of looking at our karma, and let me tell you what, we're going to look at our collective karma as well, and America's center stage. So like I said, no judgment, because all roles are equal in value and all outcomes are equal in value for the evolution of humanity. The question that we need to ask ourselves is, are we conscious about our choice? Are we really choosing love over fear, unity over duality? Are we really? And that's a question we're going to be asked to answer in 2019. The suffering of others that we are complacent to because it doesn't affect us personally, so we can deny it, right? So for us, it just doesn't exist. We can deny it. We can deny the struggles of others, is going to be felt by us as a personal suffering eventually if we don't start caring about what other people are going through. And sooner than we might think. I understand that the bigger issues, they feel harder to face, and I'm facing them, so I get it. Facing them doesn't just mean facing those who are absolutely choosing to fight for the old paradigm, right? And staying in darkness, waiting for some personal savior to save us from ourselves and what we've created and support. It also means, as I mentioned before, being ostracized by the very communities who believe themselves to be working for the new paradigm, but only want to feel good aspects, only want to work in safe places and spaces, and don't see the fear in that choice, right? And it being a choice of fear over love. Movement creates lasting change, and shifting from the me-centered personal growth model to the we unity conscious model is what is on the plate in 2019. So those willing to come to the table and break bread for the whole, with the whole, will find renewed assistance in building solid foundations, will find their tribe with each step of the way to do the global work that in 2020 is going to be monumental, right? We're going to find support like you can't even fathom. So while working on behalf of the whole seems like a really tall order and can be very overwhelming, I know this personally, to embark on it is not as hard as one might think. And the rewards are huge. While we may be enduring feelings of aloneness in our mission, to those activist hearts out there that are awakening, We're not alone. We are not alone. There are millions of us awakening to this calling, and in 2019, the numbers will increase tenfold. We're going to see it. We're going to see it on the global stage. We're going to see it in our communities. We're going to see mass awakenings and more people than ever before stepping up to use their voice and their actions for the benefit of the whole, right? So if you've been feeling alone, if your activist heart has been awakened and you're feeling ostracized and alone, like people think you're too negative because you're talking about the pain and the suffering in the world, you're not going to be feeling that alone for long. Keep going, baby. Keep going, okay? So, our feeling alone, right, feeling our messages falling on deaf ears has been, in my experience, a great blessing for me personally, and I'm sure for you as well. So let's remind ourselves of that right now. It's caused me to speak directly to my higher self for support and encouragement and direction. It's caused me to retreat within and work with my source and gain my guidance and courage there. Every instant where I have personally felt wounded, judged, or ostracized, labeled as being too negative because I'm looking directly at what we've created, the suffering of so many as a result of what we support, has caused me to retreat within and seek guidance there. Sure, it hasn't always been that way, and on any given day I have lost my footing, thrown in the towel, or fully embraced duality and fear, entered into arguments and battle, gone totally into me versus them on any given day. However, the louder calling of my soul won't allow me to stay there for very long. So within again, I go again and receive divine guidance and support to emerge stronger each and every single time and working on behalf of the whole now, of unity, because that's what I'm being called to do, what so many of us are being called to do. In my sleep time last night, I was shown that at this time, we are all, those of us here, to usher in the new paradigm for us all. We are all being called right now to get honest with ourselves about our ideas of what work we're really doing and who we're doing it for. 2019 is the year of bringing mind, body, and spirit into balance and unity. Balance and unity within that works for balance and unity without. Keyword works for. Right? What are we working toward is the question to be answered this year. Enough of the spiritual bypassing. That is a construct of a spiritual ego who is resisting actual healing because it's still clinging to the old paradigm, and true spiritual awakening feels like death to the ego. Just look at how many spiritual teachings paint the ego as the enemy and something to be overcome, right? Teachings that guide us away from the ego's value and purpose of transformation. True transformation does not deny or keep in check the ego. True transformation heals the ego, enters into partnership with the ego, and in that the old ego dies, and with it all of its false identities, and it is resurrected as the projector of true divine divinity within and without. Any of us shaming ego while calling ourselves spiritual have a lot of work still to do internally this year, and we're going to see that, right? Our ego is essential. We cannot human. We cannot have a physical experience. We cannot be in this reality without it. We cannot be human without the ego. The mind aspect of the trinity of mind, ego, body, physical, spirit, and spirit, soul, that allows us to create physical realms and the experiences with which we have within them. Our ego is as important as our body and our soul in regards to humanity and its evolution. A healed ego holds unlimited courage, the real courage needed for the new era unfolding. The ego is a great storyteller, the best, therefore a great creator of the stories that we're living, and in its fear of dying, which we created, with that fear, by the way, with shaming and denying it, neglect is the worst form of abuse. We don't just shame it in ourselves, we shame it in others, right? No wonder the ego believes it's going to die. Being under constant ridicule and attack would make anything think about dying. Our ego is brilliant. It's a chameleon, adaptable and capable of creating unlimited identities for its survival. Anything to avoid death, because anything dying will fight to survive in its nature. And so we see the mass emergence of the spiritual ego. And we're being called to really honestly look at that. And we call ourselves healers and light workers, but are we really that? Are we really healers and light workers, right? Are we going to where the suffering is to do our work? The real suffering? Are we conscious in what we're supporting in every choice that we're making? Or are we still clinging to safety, right? And only opening our hearts to that which reinforces our sense of being light and love, and avoiding what's not our problem because it's inconvenient or it's a downer, right? Makes us look at ourselves. Trust and believe that in 2019 we are going to be shown the answers to these questions, whether we're asking them or whether we're not. We're going to be shown this, right? Stepping up and into working toward unity consciousness beyond the feel-good concept of it is one of the hardest and most important choices that we're making right now. As the old consciousness dies, and I feel it dying within me, death is painful. It's not always pretty or peaceful. I feel something new in me also being born, something more than I've ever felt in this human lifetime. And while it's enticing, while it feels like the birth of a new world, that in itself has its terrifying moments. The labor pains and the giving birth are undeniably traumatic and the most rewarding, beautiful experience all at once. And like giving birth to my children, once labor has begun, there is no stopping it. I cannot stop what is being born in me now, even if I wanted to. And like labor, the closer that we're getting to the birth of this new life, this new era, the more intense this pain is becoming, the closer the contractions are coming together until it's time to push. And now it's time to push. We must participate in giving birth to a new world. We have to push through the pain. We have to participate fully, right? Fully in the now. Fully present, facing the pain. We must push through the screams and the tears and let them flow. Let it all flow, holding back nothing. We must push because we're giving birth to a new world. Lelania. I think I want to start a community. I think that's kind of what I'm seeing, where those of us who really want to do this deep work of looking at where we're spiritual bypassing, look at where we've created a spiritual identity, look at where we're avoiding the suffering of others because it doesn't affect us, we're denying that it's taking place, look at where we are not giving what we wish to receive, look at where we're in fear, specifically those of us who really have that desire within us to do work, to be healers, right? To unleash the wounded healer, to do healing work in this world. I'd like to form a group where we all come together to support each other in doing that work. So if you're interested in joining that group and doing this work with me, hit me up and message or comment on this and let me know that you want to do that work with me, because I would be honored to do that work with you too. We have so much to learn from each other, and this year is all about finding our tribe who's willing to step into the global scene, okay? And do the things that are uncomfortable. Get involved on the political stage. Get involved in the world stage. Start taking up movements that aren't personal to us, right? We can deny that there's racism when it doesn't affect us personally. Or we think we've overcome it and developed an ego that says, I pulled myself up from my bootstraps, anybody can. And then we discount the experience of others. And there's so many, right? If you're passionate about the LGBTQ movement or women's rights or whatever the case may be, it is time to use your voice. If you have no passion or compassion whatsoever for what is going on with others that does not affect you, but you want to learn that, reach out. If you don't, cool. That's cool. I'm looking for my tribe, yo. I'm looking for my tribe who wants to do that work, who wants to get involved, who wants to be a part of the movement, who wants to give birth to a new world, to a new era, who wants to consciously choose to walk the walk and not just talk the talk, right? That's who I'm looking for. So if that's you, I'm looking both cameras here. I want to connect with you. I want to be involved with you and allow you to be involved with me and for us to do this work together. All right. All right. Go back and check out some of these comments over here. Let's see what's going on, because I've been reading. I haven't seen you guys. All beautiful names. I'm so honored you guys showed up. Thank you so much for being here with me. I love you guys so much. Sending love, Rebecca. Thank you. Yes, doing this work, launching a book this week to help build bridges between our angels and demons so we integrate rather than isolate. That is beautiful. And Rebecca and I are super close friends, so I happen to know that she is a warrior when it comes to facing the bullshit, let me tell you. So cool. So cool. And I love that. Lady, this is my book. So Confirmation, there is literally no original thought. And many of us who are here on the planet at this time, we've already done this. We've done this shift in other galaxies, with other species. Our soul has already taken part in the evolution of entire species, right? So yeah, right now, those memories are awakening in us, and there's gonna be so many of us saying the same thing, right? So there's no such thing as my work or our work. It's our work, right? Like, we're all going to be saying the same thing, and we're going to be starting to say it louder and louder and louder. And that's what this video is all about, really. It's about the calling to say it louder, to be willing to be loud, because there is a minority on this planet, who is consciously choosing to fight on the behalf of darkness and going backward, right? Staying in that old structure. But they're the loudest. They've been the loudest. And they're threatening, because that's the energy they're fighting to hold. They're fighting to hold on to hierarchy, right? They're fighting to hold on to an era of inequality. And what does that look like? It looks like exactly what inequality and hierarchy is. It's control, power, domination, genocide, right? War, fighting. So they're the loudest, but they're the minority. They're the minority, because the majority of us want peace, tranquility, harmony, safety, joy, and there's many of us who don't only want it for ourselves, we want it for everyone else, including those who would fight for the opposite of it, because we understand that the path to getting what we wish to receive is by giving it to others. So we have these basically three groups: those who are fighting to go back to the old, those who want for themselves peace, love in the world, those who are actually doing the work to give to others what they want. And who I want to connect with here is those who are doing the work to actually get involved on the world stage and give to others what we want, right? Okay, let's see. Yeah, you know what, Rebecca, you and I, we need to talk, girl. Brilliant minds. All right. Okay, so I'm going to also be posting this video on my YouTube channel, getting some messages that it's time to really expand, start writing in my blog again, trying to get my book finished. There's a lot going on, so I'm going to do this double video thing. I love you guys with all my heart and soul. I'm excited to be here at this time of great change, and I can tell you personally that doing this work within me is the hardest work I've ever done, but is the most rewarding work. And I'm really excited to connect with my soul family, my tribe, who are the activist hearts of this world, and to be renewed and strengthened in spirit through those connections, and to offer you the same. So I will talk to you guys later. Have an amazing day. Mwah.